Jamie, hi, good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great, Rick. Good to see you.
Good. Well, great that you're here. I appreciate you taking some time. We have a series of interviews that we've done with our Vistage members, so I appreciate you taking some time and telling us about a bit about yourself and about JN Private Wealth Management. So really, that's the first question. How is it you came into forming JN Private Wealth Management, and if you could tell us a bit about yourself.
All right, thanks, Rick. So my background is I'm originally from the Midwest. I went to high school and college in the Midwest, and came to Maryland in 1984, working for a Fortune 100 company. I was in sales, and then something happened that changed my life, which is my father passed away at a very young age, and my mom was back in the Midwest. And I had met somebody that worked for Legg Mason at the time and thought, maybe I'd want to work more with people and help them make smart decisions about their money and get them set up for retirement. So I began my due diligence of becoming a financial advisor really back in 1984. Didn't actually make the move until 1992 when I joined Legg Mason as a financial advisor. I'm married. My wife, Nora, is my chief compliance officer and my CFO. I have two children, Matthew, who is 25. He works at APL in Columbia, and my daughter is a sophomore at Virginia Tech. So I'm very grounded in family, love the family, and have been in the industry for 30 years. And just recently, in November, started my own practice, which is JN Private Wealth Management.
Great. Well, I know in our conversations, I have found it really helpful to understand the different types of wealth management, financial counseling folks receive. And what I found particularly interesting is the notion of a virtual family office. So I was wondering, can you explain what that is and how that's come about?
Sure, Rick. Yeah, it's a good question. So there are over 400,000 registered investment advisors
Wow.
in this country. And many of them are certified financial planners, but a lot of them are not. But as you can see in this pyramid here, if you start down at the bottom, the basic entry level for becoming a financial advisor is what we call an investment advisor. And basically the goals are limited. You're primarily transaction oriented. You're selling product, selling securities. You have limited confidence because you're relatively new in the business. You may be, smart and everything, but you don't have the experience.
Right.
And the results are a single area, and that's generally to do a transaction with a client and to open an account. All right. Then after you have been in the business for a while, generally it takes, maybe a couple years, into the business, you become what's called a financial advisor. Even though this is a higher level and you're beginning to gain confidence and knowledge, maybe you're starting to take the CFP, becoming more knowledgeable about financial planning, but your goals still are bounded primarily from an investment point of view. Still have what I would call incomplete confidence. You're getting more confident, but you've been through a couple of market corrections and they tend to worry you a little bit. And
Yeah.
then your restricted results because you really can't control how the market moves. So that's the next level up, and that's a financial advisor. And then to go up from there, you become what is now known as a wealth manager, and the your goals are extensive. You're probably a CFP or maybe a SEMA. You have some other designations other than the registration for the Series 7. You have quiet confidence because you've been doing this for a while. You have a group of clients and you're probably working on a team or you're working with other people, and you're getting a wide range of results, primarily in the uh, advanced planning area. So you're doing investments, but you're also starting to do the advanced planning, which is the wealth preservation, wealth transfer, charitable giving. So you're starting to do a lot more for the client other than investments. And then at the top of the pinnacle is the virtual family offices. And this is where it's possible to have the best. You're working with the best accountants, the best attorneys. You have maybe strategic partners that you're working with. And your goals are being maximized because you're taking a comprehensive approach with the client. You have confidence, authentic confidence, and you are a comprehensive you're looking at not only the investments, but you're looking at the next generation doing the planning. So these are the kind of the different areas of financial advisors that are out there. And everyone takes a little bit of room to move up the pinnacle to the top, which is kind of where I am right now. I've been in the kind of the wealth management area for probably 10 years, and now I'm moving up to the virtual family office where I have a team of other advisors that I can bring to the table. It really came about during COVID when a lot of financial advisors were working remotely and were not able to meet with clients, and the technology. It's a very technology oriented practice. But really what it is, it's very similar to a single family office. It's a little bit different in that you don't have to be all your advisors in the same room. It's virtual. So I have people, centers of excellence and subject matter experts all over the country. I have somebody in California that I use. So we don't have to be in the same room, but basically it provides a full service of estate, tax, business succession planning, wealth protection, asset protection, advanced planning, charitable giving. It provides everything that a single family office, but it's all virtual, and it's at a much lower entry point, and the efficiencies of cost are much more attractive than having a single family office.
Makes sense. Well, the other unique aspect is you think of a virtual family office, and then I guess multifamily office where four or five individuals may come together and pay for a staff, but that's the same staff for all five. Whereas you have the flexibility of your clients don't need to be using all of the same people. Is that correct? And what's your role in a virtual family office?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So there's a single family office, which is really designed for people that have 250 million or more. Multifamily office is geared towards 50 million up to that 250. And then a virtual family office really begins to make sense for a lot of people around $10 million in net worth or enterprise value. And what I try and do, I'm kind of the quarterback of the relationship. So when I meet somebody, oftentimes I'll take them through a initial consultation, discovery, and find out, where they are, where they want to go, and if there are any gaps there. But if I do, and I find out they're working with somebody that would do the same thing that I would do, I just tell them that there's really, you're working with a good advisor and there's really nothing to be done. But oftentimes when you get in and peel the onion back with an individual in a pretty serious discovery process, you find out there are gaps either in the investments or the advanced planning, or just the accountant's not working with the attorney's not talking to the accountant. So a lot of times they just don't communicate. So my role is to bring that single family office down to our lower level, say $10 million and up to about $100 million, and coordinate with the advisors, the other advisors, the accountants, the attorneys. Now, when I meet somebody, if they have somebody, obviously I don't try and displace them, but if I find it's obvious that they've outgrown them, then I try and introduce them to one of the people that I have trust in and bring them in. But oftentimes we end up working with the accountant or the attorney as co-counsel or something like that. So we're trying to include everybody in collaboration, but we want to make sure that we have the best people, the most qualified people for the client to do the best job for them, because that's ultimately what's the most important thing.
Oh, no, that's great. And I know conversations with many of our members. Some have people that they're working with, such as yourself, but many don't. So, just your explanations have been really helpful.
And a lot of things have changed. I mean, you ask most people if anything's changed in your life in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say probably 95% of them say, absolutely. Things are not the same with COVID and everything that we went through, or the business has really developed and matured. And now they're starting to think about a succession plan. So that doesn't mean they have the right team, advisors on their team, but they may need to start to putting together a team. And somebody like myself that can kind of come in and quarterback that really does make sense for the client and the advisors to get them the best people on the team to help them achieve whatever they're trying to do.
Great. Wow, that's exciting. Now, you're a relatively new member to Vistage. I think you joined our team in January. Was that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So share with the folks listening what it is that intrigued you about Vistage, why you joined, and what has been your experience in these first 6 months?
Okay, yeah, great question. So the reason I joined Visage, I've been familiar with it, but working for a major bank or a brokerage firm, I really didn't have the opportunity to join because I really wasn't the owner of the company. But now that I am the owner of the company and I'm the CEO and I'm the lead financial advisor, I do have that opportunity. So I wanted to put myself in a position where I would meet people and trade ideas, best practices, thought leadership. I have a lot of experience in working with business owners on succession planning, and for me, it was really about having like a board of directors because I'm the owner of the company, but I like to get ideas from other people, particularly other businesses. I mean, I've been in this business, financial services, for 30 years, so I pretty much know how I want to do it. But there are a lot of lessons learned from other business owners. So I thought by joining a mastermind group, I'll call it, of other business owners, successful business owners that understand collaboration and working with other people in other industries, you can learn from that. So I wanted to be a part of a CEO mastermind group of non-competing business owners where I could share my ideas, meet new people, and also explain to them what my objectives are for my practice, which is to grow the practice over a period of time. So that's the major reason why I wanted to do it. It's just learn from other people, because you can learn a lot from other people, and then get out and talk to people and network with people and build relationships with other successful people.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I know a number of our folks, they're spending all of their 80 hours a week trying to build their book of business, grow the company, build their organization. And so often it's a secondary thought in terms of how am I building my personal wealth through my business? And,
Mm-hmm.
so often when we're talking about, well, I'm thinking about selling the company. And as, just recently we had a whole session around transition planning. When do you plan to exit or sell your company? And there are lots of resources for determining the optimal time and the optimal way in which to sell your business.
Mm-hmm.
But then, but if you're dependent upon just the sale price of your business, you maybe have foregone 5, 10 years of more creative ways to build your personal wealth. And so, if you could just say a few things in terms of how a business owner can put in place a wealth management plan that goes beyond just someday I'll sell this and have some assets, but build my personal wealth over time.
Right. Now, good point. So I think it really starts with doing a comprehensive financial plan where you look at the business owner's business, his interest in his business, his personal financial balance sheet, and then what he has assets, whether it's real estate or he has other types of business interests, and kind of bring it all together in a financial plan and look at retirement cash flows, even look at simple things like Social Security. When is the best time to take Social Security? Because there's different philosophies around that as well. But it also starts to plan for the legacy of the business owner is to the next generation. Do you start gifting to children or grandchildren? Do you start setting up trust? Do you have philanthropic intentions? Do you want to start, leaving a legacy through a charitable remainder trust or something along those lines? It really is a more comprehensive approach where you look at the investments, but you also look at the advanced planning. But it really would come to place in having somebody do an independent study through a financial plan and take all of these things into consideration to determine where the client is now personally and business and where they want to go and what are the gaps. And if there are gaps there, then you can start working with a trusted advisor, not only a financial advisor, but an accountant or an attorney or other people that might help you bridge those gaps.
Yeah. As you think of a 30 or 40-year career as owner and CEO of a business, when do people typically start getting interested in the different types of financial services and, the idea of a virtual family office?
Okay, that's a good question, Rick. So generally business owners start to think about doing something when they get to a point in their business that either they have to sell if they want to continue growing, or they're going to, start to think about the succession plan of that business. It could be selling to a family member, could be selling to a private equity or a strategic buyer. This chart here you're looking at is a evidence of the interest in the idea of a virtual family office. And as you can see here, that if you look at millennials and Gen X's, there's a significant interest in the whole idea of a virtual family office. And these are the millennials and the Gen X's now that are growing their businesses, but at some point, they understand collaboration, they understand the constraints on their time, and they want to work with the best people. So this is a good illustration. This was a research that I got from a company called CEG Insights, which is a consultant that I've used for years. And they go out and they survey the market, and they put out this research report that says that between millennials and Gen X's, there's a significant interest. I think it's close to the 90% are interested in learning more about the virtual family office, because some of them understand conceptually what it means, but a lot of times they don't really know what it means for themselves and their family. So we're starting to see more people look at this idea of family office at a lower level, and that would be the virtual family office. And the research that we're seeing kind of demonstrates that, especially from the millennials and the Gen Xers.
That's great. No, that's very helpful. And I look at the demographics of our 30 CEOs that we have in our groups, and it's amazing how many people we have under 40, how many people are in their 40s. I mean, we have a huge representation of the millennials and Gen Xers right in our own demographics. So
yeah, the baby boomers the numbers aren't quite as strong, but certainly the baby boomers, many of them have sold their businesses, but there's still some of them that are still active, and they still are interested in the concept of working with a virtual family office, because they want to work with the best people available to make sure that the business gets sold in the right way. And more importantly is the taxes. Most business owners regret the way they sell their business. I think it's over 50%. It's not so much the value they get for them, it's what they keep after the taxes. So a lot of times, if you have a long runway, you can do a lot of planning to mitigate taxes if you have the opportunity to do that. But if you don't, then many business owners end up paying more taxes than they really have to.
And I think a lot of our boomers have, they've probably experienced that wealth management layer of the pyramid.
Absolutely.
But really haven't explored the notion of a virtual family office, and it takes it to that next level of coordination across the resources. So that's really cool. Great. Thank you. Now, for folks who haven't met you and are interested in learning more, how can they learn more about what you're doing and this notion of a virtual family office, how they can tap into that?
Well, one thing they could do, Rick, is to join your group. You have that opportunity there. I mean, that's a no-brainer there.
Yeah.
But if they wanted to learn more about the virtual family office, I do a monthly series on LinkedIn. The only requirement is one, we would need to connect on LinkedIn. They could send me an invite to connect. And then every month I do a session. It's about a 30-minute session on the virtual family office. And it's really designed for successful entrepreneurs that are kind of looking at, where they are right now. It's titled How Driven Entrepreneurs Can Benefit from a High-Performing Virtual Family Office. That's what it's called. And I have one every month. And so you can keep an eye out for the announcement on LinkedIn. But the first way that they could connect with me would be just go to LinkedIn, type in my name, connect, we'll get connected, and then they will get information when these seminars or these virtual events are coming out. And then I would explain to them, and then if they're interested after that, obviously the call to action is to set up a 15-minute consultation. I don't charge for it. It's just a few questions. I ask them about where they are, where they're going, and to see if a virtual family office may make sense for themselves and their families.
And I'm also excited to have you speaking with my three groups, my key group and my two chief executive groups this month. And you're in pursuit of becoming a Vistage speaker. So could you say more about that?
Sure. Yeah, Rick. That's one of the main things that when I got into Vistage, I learned about the opportunities for for branding. I think I told you initially is I'm playing this game to win, not to play or play to lose. But being a national speaker is one of my priorities for Vistage, and I have 3 presentations that you set up for me, invited me, and I appreciate that. 1 to your key executives and 2 to the CEO groups this coming week. And I'm very excited about that. And I'm going to be talking about the virtual family office and the driven entrepreneurs can benefit from a virtual family office. And I'm going to be doing those presentations. So that'll give me the 3 sessions that will propel me to becoming a national speaker, because I think the research has told us that the VFO is getting more and more interest. And I want to be known for the person in my market that has a virtual family office for business owners. And this is going to give me a good opportunity to take advantage of that.
Great. I think they're going to be really interesting workshops. I appreciate you doing it. Thank you for taking the time. It's great having you as a member. You're a real resource to a lot of our folks, and I appreciate taking the time to do this today.
Thank you for making this opportunity available to me, Rick. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You're a true professional. And I look forward to continuing to work together and help each other grow our practices.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you.